All right, so today we're looking at writing equations, lesson 2.1 textbook. Uh, so the two objectives for this lesson, translating sentences into equations, and then the opposite, translate equations into sentences. So if we take a look at the first example here, it says, here's the situation. The length of each lap times the number of laps is the length of the race. First thing is defining the variables. So this situation, L, which you see the script L, is representing the number of laps in the race. And the equation, 1.5 times L is equal to 501. Well, the way that they're getting that is from the Y at the top of the book. So the NRA 500 is a NASCAR race at the Texas Motor Speedway in Fort Worth. Although advertised as 500 miles, it's actually 501 miles. The distance once around the track is 1.5 miles. So the equation from the textbook shows you 1.5 for every lap is going to equal 501. That's it, just writing the equation. So let's take a look at the first example. So example 1a, 7 times the number squared is 5 times the difference k and m. K and m are variables. So 7 times a number, so you see 7 and you see the dot symbol for multiplication. N squared, or the square of n, turns into an equal sign 5 times. There's 5 and then the dot symbol. And then the difference of k and m, notice how k and m are in parentheses, k minus m. It's in parentheses, it's a quantity. K minus m is the difference of k and m. The order matters. The difference of k, meaning k goes first, then the minus sign. And notice how they have the equation. Let's go ahead and write that, or just underline that. So here's your 7n squared. Because when you have a number times a variable or a variable squared or variable to a power, you just put them right next to each other, it's implied multiplication. Same thing with a number next to the parentheses, 5 times the difference, and so that would be the equation. That's it, just writing the equation there. For B, you've got 15 times the number subtracted from 80 is 25. So here you see 15 times a number. Well, you're going to see, and I'll underline that here. 15 times a number, there's your 15 being multiplied to n within that number, and there's a dot symbol for multiplication. That turns into 15n here in the equation. And the fact that it's being subtracted from 80, that's where you get your 80 minus before the 15 times n. So that leaves you your expression on the left side of the equation, 80 minus 15n equals 25. All right, so there are two guided practice problems there. At this time, go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and write the equation for both guided practice 1A and 1B. All right, so here's 1A, 2 plus the quotient of a number, and 8 is the same as 16. Well, is going to be your equal sign, so something is going to equal 16. And 2 plus the quotient, well, here's 2 plus. The quotient is going to be a division problem. However, we are going to use the fraction bar to represent the divide sign, or something being divided. So the quotient of a number in 8, n is going to represent the number and in the numerator, and 8 is your number in the denominator. So that is your equation. 2 plus n divided by 8 equals 16. There's your equation for 1a. For 1b, let's take a look at 1b. there's 1b. 27 times k is h squared decreased by 9. So there's your equal sign. So I'm going to go ahead and put equal sign there. 27 times k. Well, here's 27. Here's my dot symbol for multiplication. K is my variable. Yes, that's going to be 27k, but let's write the right-hand side first. It says h squared decreased by 9. So h squared is the square of h. So h raised to the second power decreased by 9. And so putting this together, 27k equals h squared minus 9. Alright, so there's 1a and 1b. With that being said, you would be able to take a look at problems 1 through 8 on the Check Your Understanding after the lesson, or problems 21, 22, and 23 for the practice and problem solving. And remember that in the back of the book, the odd numbered problems and the solutions are there. If you see a problem like number 3 that's circled in green, that means not only is the answer in the back of the book, but the worked out solution is there as well. All right, so let's take a look at example number 2 using the five-step problem solving process plan. And here is the situation. So refer to the information on the left. In how many days will 261,000 flights have occurred in the United States? Well, in the link it says at the very bottom, now there are more than 87,000 flights each day in the United States. That's coming straight from that right there. So here's the analyze part of step 1. 87,000 flights per day in the United States. We need to find out how many days will it take for 261,000 flights to occur. So here, I'm going to underline here that D represents the number of days needed. That's defining the variable. Well, if it's 87,000 per day, there's your 87,000. There's your dot symbol for multiplication. D will represent the number of days. Equal sign 261,000. So here it puts it all together. 87,000 D equals 261,000, and it does say how many days will that occur. Well, to solve that, they're saying determine what number times 87,000 is going to give you 261,000. So the answer provided there, D equals 3. To solve this, this is a one-step process, both sides, and I'll show that over here on this side. 87 equals 87, that's rewriting that. Another one, 87,000 times the number of days, D equals 261,000. Notice I'm not writing the commas, don't need to. But to solve this, both sides need to be divided by 87,000. 87,000 D divided by 87,000 divided by 87,000 divided by 87,000 simplifies to 1 over 1. So that's with D, 1D, which is 1. And on the other side over here, so 261,000 divided by 87,000. So I could use a regular calculator or the graphing calculator. I'm going to use the graphing calculator here. And that is going to go with 261,000. And the reason I'm doing this is to show you, if you're using the graphing calculator, you do not use the comma, divided by 87,000. Oh, there's our answer. All right, so, and the answer is not D equals 3. The answer is it will take 3 days. That's the answer to the problem. So just to let you know that. So based off of that, there is a guided practice. So again, pause the video here and take a few moments to solve the guided practice problem number 2. All right, so government, there are 31 members of the Texas Senate. This is 119 fewer than in um, the number in the Texas House of Representatives. How many members are in the Texas House of Representatives? Well, we know that we're looking for the Texas House of Representatives. So we need a variable. So we're going to say R, we're going to, actually, we're going to say let R equal uh, number of members in House of Representatives. Every time we're using the variable R, we're talking about the number of members in the House of Representatives. So now we know that there are 31 members in the Texas Senate. Well, um, we know that this is going to be 100, 31 is going to be equal to the number of members of the 119, well, 31 is equal to 119 fewer than the number of the House of Representatives. So if it's 119 fewer than the House of Representatives, then it's going to be R minus 119. So our equation is R minus 119. That's going to equal 31. So because 31 is 119 fewer than the number of representatives, now we can look at this equation and solve this in one step by adding 119 to both sides. So add 119 to the left side of the equation, add 119 to the right side of this equation. 119 minus 119, or minus 119 plus 119 is 0. And we have basically R minus 119 plus 119 is R. That simplifies to R. And let's use our calculator. 31 plus 119 gives us 150. So R equals 150. And so the answer to the problem says how many members are in the Texas House of Representatives? Well, our answer would be there are 150 members. And so that answers the question. Remember, R equals 150 is the math answer. There are 150 members in the House of Representatives, Texas House of Representatives. That's your answer to the word problem. All right, and so that will help you answer problems 9 and 10 on the check for understanding at the end of the lesson, and problems 24 and 25 on the practice and problem solving. All right, so now we have example number 3. It says a rule for a relationship between certain quantities is called a formula. These equations use variables to represent numbers and form general rules. So in number 3, we have a geometry problem. It says translate a sentence into a formula. Here's one. Probably heard this formula before. The area of a triangle equals the product of 1/2 the length of the base and the height. Well, here are the words, the area of a triangle. So are we going to define capital A or A for our area of the triangle? And B is going to let B equal the base of the triangle, and H is going to represent the height of the triangle. So the formula says the area of the triangle, there's A, equals, equal sign, the product of 1/2 of the length of the base and the height. So product, answer to multiplication problem. There's 3 things we multiply. The number 1/2, the length of the triangle, length of the base of the triangle, and the height of the triangle. So here's our formula, 1/2 base times height. All right, so now, be a good time, go ahead and pause the video and take a look at guided practice problem number 3, work this problem out, and we'll go over the answer in just a moment. All right, so here is the problem. It says in a right triangle, the square of the measure of the hypotenuse, C, equal to the sum of the squares of the measures of the legs A and B. Okay, so let's actually draw a right triangle. So here's a right triangle, and it's not a right triangle until you have the 90-degree box to make it a right triangle. And so the legs are A and B, and the one that really matters is hypotenuse C. So that's the longest side of the right triangle, the side that's directly opposite the 90-degree angle. Legs A and B, um, typically I will always like to say if I know there's a shorter leg, that leg is going to be side A, and the other leg is going to be B. Well, this is saying the uh, the 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 square of the hypotenuse is equal to the square of the legs A and B. Excuse me, sum of the squares of the measures of legs A and B. So the square of the hypotenuse would be C times C. Well, that's C squared. So let's just write that underneath. C squared is equal to, there's my equal sign, and then the sum of squares, that means I'm adding two things. I'm adding the square of A to the square of B. So that's A squared plus B squared. There's your vector here. So solving a problem like this will help you get ready for examples 11 through 14 on the check your understanding, and problems 26 through 29 on practice and problem solving. Let's take a look. So objective number 2, basically going the other way. They write sentences from equations. So given an equation, write a sentence or create your own word problem. So in example 4, it says, example 4a, 6z minus 15 equals 45. Well, 6z actually means the product of 6 and z, or what you see written here, and I'll underline it, 6 times z. There's your minus sign, there's your equal minus 15, and it equals 45. I'm not asking you to solve this, it's just asking you to translate the math equation into a sentence. So 6 times z minus 15 equals 45. Lots of other ways that this could have been written as well. Could have been the product of 6 and z decreased by 15 is equal to 45. Lots of different ways. Let's move on to B. It says, what you see is y squared plus 3x equals w. Well, y squared is the square of y, or as you see here, y squared. And then 3x really means 3 times x, or the product of 3 and x, and is w. So they have here in the book, the sum of y squared and 3 times x is w. That's basically it. So again, this is a good time. Go ahead and pause the video for you to try guided practice 4a and 4b. All right, so 4a, what you see is 15 equals 25 u squared plus 2. Well, 15 equals, let's go ahead and write that. So 15 equals, so 25 u squared, we can easily say 25 times the square of u, or 25 times u squared, either one of those works. So let's go ahead and put, and we can even write the numbers too. We don't have to write out the words. So equals 25 times, I'm going to put the square of u, and then plus 2, well, actually, I'm going to put the square of u and then increased by 2. So 25 times the square of u, and then actually, I'm just going to write, and then add 2. And let's put out u. So there are several ways this can be written. This is one that is an acceptable way to do it. So for the next one, what you see is 3 halves r minus 13 cubed equals 132. Uh, so here we can put 3/2 times r. So let's write that one out. 3/2 times r. You just put minus or subtracted or minus, why not? Minus, we'll put p cubed. P cubed is 132. And that's translating an equation into a sentence. So problems like 4a and 4b will help you with a problems 15 through 18 on the check for understanding and 30 through 35 on the practice and problem solving. So now, example 5. When given a set of information, you can create a problem that relates a story. So number 5. So write a problem based on the given information. T equals the time that Maxine drove during each of her terms. T plus 4 equals the time that Tia drove during each of her terms. So 2t plus the quantity t plus 4, or 2 times t plus the sum of t and 4 equals 28. So here, example, this is one example. Maxine and Tia went on a trip. They took turns driving. During her term, Tia drove 4 hours more than Maxine. Maxine took 2 turns, and Tia took 1 turn. Together, they drove for 28 hours. How many hours did Maxine drive? It's not asking you to solve it. It's asking you to create a problem based off of this. So right now, go ahead and pause the video so you can try guided practice number 5. Okay, so example 5, we're given this information. P equals Beth's salary, 0.1p equals bonus, then P plus 0.1p equals 525. This salary, so this is actually talking about salary is the amount of money a person earns from a job. So let's say this is a yearly salary, and that would be P. So 0.1p is actually equal to 10% of that salary, or just the value. So when we say p plus 0.1p equals 525, we could say that that p equals Beth's salary and that 0.1p equals Beth's commission. So let's start writing that out. So Beth has a job that pays salary plus commission. Oh, plus 10% commission. So now we have everything set up. Let's go ahead and say that P represents Beth's salary and 0.1p represents the commission Beth earns. And now we can actually say how much is Beth's salary if her total pay is $525? How much is Beth's salary if she, let's see, so if she has a total paycheck okay, for $525? $125. So don't have to solve it, just need to come up with a situation that represents everything from this problem here. So this type of problem will help you with example number, problem number 9, 19, and 20 from the Check Your Understanding, and problems 36 through 29 on the practice and problem solving. So that takes care of this lesson for writing equations.